ಇನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಶುರುವಾಗಿದೆ.
So good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
So yesterday I discussed about the syllabus of this subject, tribology, and also I had discussed about the introduction regarding to this subject tribology. So today I'll take up a topic in module 1, that is lubricants. So lubricant, it's some kind of unguent which is applied between the two rubbing surfaces in order to minimize the friction. So in turn, the friction creates a wear. So this lubricant ultimately minimizes the wear loss. So that is the significance of lubricants. So this lubricants, it is wrongly written as module 3. It comes under module 1. Don't mistake this. Okay. So in case of lubricants, so lubricant can be divided, can be classified into 4 types. One is a solid lubricant, second one is a liquid one, gaseous one, and semi-solid, or you can call it as semi-liquid lubricants. So this solid lubricant, basically it is in solid phase, often placed between the two bearing surfaces, and it undergoes more shear than bearing materials itself, and the performance majorly relies on the apply load. So I'll just take one example for this solid lubricant. Best example is the talc powder, which you apply it on the carom board when you are playing a carom board. So normally we apply a talc powder on it. So this talc powder facilitates the uh, easy movement of the pan. Okay, so that is the best example of solid lubricant. And the primary properties. So it must be able to support applied load without significant distortion. So this is one of the important property of a solid lubricant. Then coefficient of friction and the rate of wear must be acceptably low. See, what is this coefficient of friction? See, coefficient of friction, it's a value. Okay. So normally it is given by, it is the ratio of applied force to the weight of the or body force. Okay, that is coefficient of friction. And in case of solid lubricants, say this value coefficient of friction must be very low. Suppose if that value goes up, definitely it offers more friction and in turn more resistance and more loss, wear loss. So in order to increase the durability, resins are bonded to the solid lubricant. Resin is it's a basically a polymer, and it increases wear life and the surface film thickness, etc. And these are termed as bonded coatings. So these are all mainly used in cylindrical bushes, which holds a component, machine component, and a separator and electrical brushes. So normally it is used in these cases. As I said, this can be classified further. Solid lubricants can be classified as polymers and made out of polymers, suitable to bear light loads. Largest group of solid lubricants, low thermal conductivity, decreased sliding speeds. Low thermal conductivity results in heating and melt, reducing lifespan. And one more material, polytetrafluoroethylene. Shortly, it is called as PTFE. So polymer produced from ethylene in which all the hydrogen atoms have been replaced by fluorine atoms. So it is also called as a Teflon. Teflon coating you might have seen. Okay. So you just observe the surface of the Teflon coating, so smooth it is. And high chemical stability, non-toxic, too soft, high wear rate, and a poor thermal conductivity. Semi-solid lubricants, or you can call it also call it as the semi-liquid lubricants. Best example is a grease. Okay, so it could be a black grease or yellow grease or a brown grease. So it's a sticky mass used in the bearing for lubrication purpose. So these greases are used wherever you cannot use either solid lubricant or liquid lubricant. Okay, so this the major advantage of these greases are it will stick to the component for a very long time, and it doesn't require any confined surface. Okay, so it can adhere to any kind of surface, and it has got a low viscosity. Then contains base oil, additives, thickener, etc. So these thickeners can be a soap based or non-soap based. So basically, this grease is made out of mineral oil, esters, and silicons. So lithium can be added to that. So to have some desired properties, and this can be operated for a minimum temperature and maximum temperature between minus 40 degrees Celsius to 150 degree Celsius. So similarly for esters, it can be operated for minus 75 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. And for lithium plus silicons, it can be operated for minus 55 degrees Celsius to 205 degree Celsius. So similarly, the cost varies accordingly. Then look at the advantages of greases. So the main advantage is, as I said, it remains at application point and adhere to the surface in an effective way, and the less frequent application is needed. So once in a month or 2 weeks, like that, it is it need to be applied, and it is good for inclined and vertical shafts. See what happens in case of inclined and vertical shafts. So if you apply a liquid lubricant, it flows out of the surface. So in that case, you cannot have liquid lubricant on it. So the next alternative is grease. So this grease remains on that surface. Though the shaft, whether it is inclined or vertical, it doesn't matter. It will strictly stick to the surface, and it performs its job. Okay, so that is the advantage of grease. Then seal out contaminates and less expensive seals are needed, and water resistant and reduce oil vapor problems since it is in
Sir, screen
semi-liquid form.
ಕಾಣ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
Hello,
ಸರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಏನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. PPT ಏನು
screen ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ನೋ ಸರ್.
Presenting no actually.
ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್, ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ?
ಕಾಣ್ತಿದೆ
ಈಗ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಸಮ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು? Who is that person?
ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್. ಇವಾಗ ಸರಿ
So,
ಆಯ್ತು.
is it audible? The screen is audible?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್ ಎಸ್.
Okay. Then it's fine. Sorry, the screen. If this screen is visible, I'll go ahead with this.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
Okay, fine.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
No problem. Advantages. I was discussing the advantages of greases. So water resistant and it reduces oil vapor problems, prolong the life of worn-out parts, reduce noise and vibration. So these are all the advantages of greases. Then after solid and semi-solid or semi-liquid lubricants, let us see the liquid lubricants. So also known as liquid oils. Say this liquid lubricants, it could be a synthetic oil or it could be a natural one, artificial one, like that. Okay. So low viscosity oils have a low fluid friction losses and hence a low heat generation. Sorry for the mistake. It is heat generation, not air generation. Liquid can carry away heat. See these, the one more advantage of this liquid lubricant is in addition to the lubrication, it also acts as a coolant. So it takes away the heat from the machine components. Okay. Then characteristics: high boiling point, low freezing point, high resistance to oxidation and heat, and non-corrosive properties. These are all the characteristics. See, boiling point and freezing point, you know very well. Then classification based on animal and vegetable oils. So this lubricant, liquid lubricants, it could be derived from vegetable, animal, or from petrochemical products. So if it is extracted from the crude fat and vegetables oils, such cottonseed oil and castor oils, it is from vegetable based. And if it is extracted from animals, it is animal based. So normally to understand this, there is a small story regarding the freedom movement. Okay, in the year 1857, when first freedom movement took place, that is the Sepoy Mutiny, the Mangal Pandey who initiated that. So during that time, the British, they used to have lubricants which are derived from animals. Okay, in order to lubricate their weapons. So animals means normally the fat was taken from cow and pig. This was the soldiers who are there in the in the troop of the British army. So they resisted this. Okay, so they severely resisted this, and one of the person from the troop, Mangal Pandey, he came out of the troop and a badly injured British officer. So rest of the things, you know, we have seen the wonderful movie about him. Okay, so that the main key reason was that lubricant. That is one of the reason, not the main one. One of the reason was also he resisted to use cow fat to overall that barrels. I mean their weapons. Okay. Then mineral or petroleum oils. lower molecular weight hydrocarbons, stable under service conditions, and it is less expensive. Oiliness is less, like that. So these are all petroleum oils, mineral and petroleum oils. Blended oils you can have, additives are essential. So blending means adding two or more lubricants together. So that is called blending. So for it is blending is done just to, in order to have good properties. Okay. So say good property means lubricants normally specified with the viscosity. Higher the viscosity, the resistance to flow is high. Lower the viscosity, the resistance to flow is low. So like that. And this viscosity varies with temperature and pressure. Okay. So normally, if the temperature becomes high, the viscosity of the oil all decreases. So it is suggested that a good lubricant should retain its viscosity even at high temperature. So then you can call it as a good lubricant. So even in heat engines also, as the engine starts, the heat of the engine rises. And as you are all aware that the liquid particles get dissociated when it is being heated, and it loses some properties, inherent properties. So in order to minimize that, so some additives are added, blended. So it is blended with some additives so that its properties are retained even at higher temperature. So that oils are called blended oils. And finally, gas lubricants. So nitrogen, helium, air can also be used as a gas lubricant, and it is used for ultra thin film thickness. Okay, so the thickness, whenever the gap between the two rubbing surfaces is very low, in that case, very less. In that case, you can use the gas lubricants. The gas means you cannot use oxygen and all these things, because oxygen, as we are all aware that it oxidizes the surface. So the gases means the nitrogen and helium is preferable. Advantage is it can operate between minus 200 to 2000 degrees Celsius, no vaporization, cavitation, solidification, and decomposition. A very low viscosity, that is 1000 times less viscous than even the thinnest mineral oil. This is the advantage of gas lubricants. And the easy of cleanliness is very easy, and the no seal requirement for lubrication. Disadvantage is low load capacity, low damping, needs a specialist designer and manufacturer. Okay, so this is the brief introduction of the lubricants. Okay. How many of you are here? 38. Okay. One more thing. So regarding this elective, you have to choose the elective. Have you got this Google form regarding choosing the electives?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Madagide.
You have given your option.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then it is fine. See, why? Because I'm just sending the link commonly to all. Okay. Those who have registered for this elective tribology, they can only admit to this. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay. So with this, I will end up today's session. And see, first chapter is all about theory. From next chapter, we'll start the derivation and the problems. Okay. So next class, I will take up few more theory related to this chapter 1. Okay. So I will end this session for today. So
Okay.
we'll meet in the next class. All of you, you do one thing. Just put your USN on the chat box. So that will be recorded automatically.